Late Night with the Devil has pulled off an impressive feat, earning a perfect rating on Rotten Tomatoes. But what other horror movies have achieved that much coveted score? Late Night with the Devil might just be one of the busiest horror flicks in recent memory. This 2024 release is blowing critics away so far. As of the making of this video, it stands at an impressive 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It's always possible some other critic will come along to bring that score down, but it's outstanding all the same. And it means that the film has achieved a feat that hasn't been seen since 2020. The last horror flick to garner a Rotten Tomatoes score of 100% was 2020's His House, a Netflix original that maintained a perfect score with 125 reviews. It's a good reminder that the horror genre is still alive and well, with filmmakers finding unique ways to garner scares. His House follows two Sudanese refugees who begin living in an English town and soon discover an evil presence around them. Critics praise the film's inventiveness and topicality, with Tim Grierson of Screen International writing, "The film has much to say about grief, guilt, assimilation, and the ongoing refugee crisis. And on top of all of that, it's also a nifty nerve jangler." The true horror in His House concerns the frightening reality many refugees face, giving the film an extra bite that makes it worth watching a few years later. Of course, anyone wanting to see the latest entry in the Rotten Tomatoes 100 Club should check out Late Night with the Devil, which is set to premiere in US theaters on March 22nd and on Shudder on April 19th. The movie follows late-night talk show host Jack Delroy, who interviews a young girl who survived a mass suicide event at a satanic church. When she makes contact with the devil, things go horrifically awry. This is a horror film that needs to be seen to be believed, and critics can't get enough of it. Ross Mackinder of Slant Magazine praised the movie, writing, "By taking the tricks and tropes associated with films about occult goings-on and applying them in the context of a 1970s talk show, Australian writer-directors Cameron and Colin Cairns have conjured up a horror flick that's devilishly fun." Dennis Harvey of Variety largely agrees, praising the film's unique setting. He writes, "The resulting mix of vintage mid-decade showbiz cheese and exorcisty demonic doings is distinctive, not to mention deftly handled by the Cairns as both writers and directors. It's always good for a movie to be compared favorably to The Exorcist, of course, and it's all anchored by a stellar performance by David Dastmalchian."
Oh, good evening, night owls, and thank you for allowing me into your living rooms once again.
Dastmalchian is no stranger to horror, of course, having offered an impressive turn in The Boogeyman. But it sounds like Late Night with the Devil might just give him a chance to establish himself as a true horror icon. Sadly, the nature of mathematics means that it only takes one outlier to reduce a movie's Rotten Tomatoes rating from 100% to a less impressive 99%. No doubt there have been many excellent horror movies over the decades with exceptional scores, but it's rare for films to hit 100% and stay there. Outside of Late Night with the Devil and His House, 2017's One Cut of the Dead also holds that distinction, with 97 reviews from critics being added up. That movie is a Japanese horror comedy about a film crew trying to make a zombie movie when actual zombies descend upon them. 2017 also saw the release of another horror flick that received a perfect score with 28 reviews, Creep 2. The sequel follows a serial killer from the first film who has a new videographer visit him. 2015's Frankenstein, an adaptation of Mary Shelley's classic novel starring Carrie Ann Moss, also hit 100%, though with only 10 reviews. Obviously, it's not quite as impressive when a movie only has a small pool of reviews to pull from to gain that coveted 100% Rotten Tomatoes score. It's certainly something to brag about when there are dozens of reviews praising a film, however. And as it stands, Late Night with the Devil has found itself in elite company, making it a flick that should be on every horror fan's radar.